Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
All right, and there's some ferocious language in this podcast. If you want to hear the uncensored version of the podcast, check into cyrussays.in. Let me see that again, cyrussays.in. Where all the and the and the and all the are all kept, and we don't say anything wrong in the podcast. So that podcast is true podcast, not diluted podcast. Okay, now I gotta go. Yes, this show is brought to you by Wow Tables.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Yes, we meet Gresham Fernandes, a poet, a singer, a dancer, a man who doesn't trust European girls for reasons he'll explain, and most importantly, a man behind the smokehouse revolution. All this and more. Cyrus Says.
Cyrus says we have other shows too. You should check them out.
Hi, I'm Amit Gurbaksani.
I'm Purva Mehra.
And I'm Pranoti Datta. And we're from a city website called The Daily Pow. And we have a new podcast called The Powcast. So you can listen to us on the IndusVox SoundCloud page as well as iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Yes, it's called Cyrus Says, and I'm totally shattered. Well, that's every day, but I'm more than normally shattered, and that's because I met a person, a lady, a middle-aged lady. Now all my friends are middle-aged and ladies. And let me tell you that she has 78 pairs of shoes. Not one, not two, not 5 pairs, but 78 pairs. And I was like, why? Are you an octopus? I mean, who takes 78 pairs of shoes? Why do you spend so much money? And do you actually use 78 pairs of shoes? I think this is a bit of symbolism out here for all of us, that we just have too much. I feel... Go into your cupboard, take out things and throw them away, and your life will be a better life. Just do it right now. I myself, and I swear to you, have only 4 t-shirts, about 2 shorts, 1 pair of jeans, a borrowed suit, and no shoes! After all, we're Indian. You would leave shoes outside the mandir, you know what happens. It's called Cyrus Says.
Cyrus says ad breaks are beneficial to your mental health.
This show is brought to you by Wow Tables. I spoke to Kunal and Deepa, the founders, about Wow Tables. Now tell us, what does it entail completely? How can we save money, we're Indians? We're not interested in anything else but how we can save money and enjoy a good meal.
So we've got curated dining experiences at some of the nicest restaurants in several cities in India now.
Okay.
And apart from the fact that we guide you into what to order and what to not, we also help you save at least 30 to 50% on that.
What are you saying? 30 to 50% on a meal?
That's right.
I'm in. Count me in. I eat a lot. You better be careful. Don't want to break the
And
bottle.
you get to have multiple courses.
Oh, so you can tell I eat a lot, huh? Deepa, that's very rude. It was not necessary. That was mean. Visit wowtables.com to book an experience and use the code Cyrus Says to get 500 rupees off on your first reservation. I repeat, 500 rupees off. That's 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus another 100. Yeah, that's right.
And that's what Cyrus says.
All right, it's called Cyrus Says. The man laughing in the background, I think he's just laughing to be nice to me. He obviously doesn't really want to laugh because there's a lot of pain in the culinary world right now. Is a leading, upcoming, actually, a young man. Normally I think of chefs as 75 plus, but this is a young man, probably the same age as my son, but with a beard. My son has the beard, not him. Gresham Fernandes, welcome to the show. You are being talked about as one of the hot, young, happening chefs in this neo-food cuisine world of India, of upmarket India, actually. Where there's a big demand. We'll come to that for this mixed sort of specialty cuisine. Well, see, when I was growing up, it was very clear. You got the Chilia Khana in the small place, Irani Cafe, you got that. Street food was very clear. Chinese, Indian Chinese was very clear. Mughlai, that bastardized North Indian food was one type. And now you guys have reinvented the wheel. You know, you've come up with this whole nouveau, which is very Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore to some extent. Nouveau cuisine, which again, you'll have to explain to us a little later. But let's start with you. Welcome to the show and tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Gresham Fernandes. That's really mean. I should be talking about you. It's really mean to set the guest up and then I'm so sorry. I'll never do that again.
Yeah, whatever. So it's cool. Bandra boy. Dad was from Bandra.
And may I interrupt? Bandra means
Bandra. Bandra from Bombay.
The food capital.
Yeah.
It is.
Everything capital.
You got everybody living here now.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's like the everything capital. And so grew up in Bandra, studied at Rizvi's, did like hotel management, whatever.
Right.
Kids don't do that, but...
You mean in Rizvi you study? I mean, when I was growing up, I played hockey against Rizvi once.
Then post that was the Leela in Andheri, 3 years out there. opened Saltwater Grill, worked there for a while. Then was with Oris for a while. And Saltwater Cafe, Smokehouse Delis,
and then the famous chef Vicky Ratnani, one of the best looking men I've ever seen in a kitchen. Of course, I've only seen his back. But I want to ask you, because I read this we have this lady called May who produces the show. She's a big name in radio, and she's given me these details, and I'm going to quote, and please tell me how you feel about this. This is a personal touch about you. Gresham Fernandes, from tending and breeding chickens, ducks and pigs at home. Where the hell in Bandra are you allowed to keep chickens, ducks and pigs?
No, that was back in the day, man.
That would eventually end up as Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
Peter's going to call us right now. And to taking morning jaunts with Granny to the pork and fish markets in nearby Chimbai.
So that's true, actually. It was not like... Man, back in the day, there were people who used to roam with leopards on Cart Road.
Yeah, that's true. I heard the story as well.
It's true, man.
I know the
What
a lovely country, What happened?
I know the lady used to take them.
Imagine he had his own pussy and he just walk around with them. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, that back in the day, you actually had...
But do you know this guy? What was his name?
No, guy. It's a lady.
It was a lady?
Yeah.
A lady with a leopard?
Yeah, dude, and she's still alive.
The leopard?
No, the lady.
Who cares about the lady? No. But you know her name. We'd love to interview her.
So
she had the leopard on a leash. I've heard this story, so I know that the story is like a legend.
Her name's flipping right now. She's in the Celebrate Bandra committee.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I thought she was part of Def Leppard, but that's another story. Anyway, so she actually walked around. This is fantastic. This is the stories you want to tell kids.
Yeah, those stories, it was pretty mad, man. I mean,
where have all the leopards gone, Gresham?
Man, there was a time in Bandra there was just fields. So my dad grew up in all, it was just fields.
Really? So you're true blue Bandrite. Like you built the place from scratch.
Yeah, we know Carter Road where people used to shit on Carter Road now.
Well, they still do, by the way. Go at the right time. Right now. Go at 3:30 in the morning. It's a different Carter Road altogether.
Yeah, but I mean, I grew up in that kind of Bandra. So
are you telling Shah Rukh Khan that his Carter Road is basically a shithole, just a toilet, just a glorified toilet?
It's his view, man.
his view, actually. No pun intended. Yeah. All right. So interesting. So this little information that we have about breeding chickens, ducks and pigs at home, that's sort of correct.
Yeah, sure.
Back in the day, before you were born, actually. And then what is the morning jaunts with Granny to the pork and fish markets in nearby Chimbai?
So Chimbai is apna St. Andrew's Church? No, not Chembur.
That's only St. Andrew's Church.
Next to St. Andrew's Church.
Right.
Chimbai. Right. So the fish guys, now those guys used to go and get their own fish. But now all the fish comes in from Sasun Dock.
Right.
So the fishermen at Chimbai are not actually fishing right now. So
because there's no water there.
There's no fish there.
There's one church, there's a hospital, there are a couple of people walking the road, but no fish and no leopards, sadly.
And the pork market is still there right now. It's a small bungalow on Bazaar Road. And it's actually blue in color. It's called Pork Market, but it's as big as this room.
So only in India will you find a bungalow which is a pork market.
Yeah, man, it's
nobody
awesome.
really lives there. They just keep.
And it's a sweet old house. It's like, I mean,
except if you're a pig, then just not. Perspective changes. So the point we're trying to make here is that so you actually this influenced you a lot. You actually went shopping for food and all that as a young kid.
Yeah, my grandmother used to suffer from arthritis, so it's like I was the guy who was doing a lot of the work that time. So like carrying bags and all that thing, And mom and dad.
You do understand that normal 12-year-old boys with their grandmothers would carry the bags, whether they share arthritis or not. You don't have to. I mean, what kind of guy are you? I will not carry your bag, Nani, unless you are injured.
No, I was younger than 12 though.
Yeah, really?
Much younger than 12, man.
That's child exploitation. I got to talk to her right now. Taking a 4-year-old, like, carry the bag. Pick up the bungalow. Take all the stock. Yeah. All right. So this is an interesting perspective you bring to us. So you were into the food thing in the beginning. Is there some sort of was there professional foodie in the family? Somebody involved in food, cooking, chef, restaurant?
Actually, all the ladies from my side of the family were great cooks and all of that. So my grandmom was a great cook. Both my grandmoms were excellent cooks, and I think I was just kind of I loved that whole. I mean that transformation of meat.
So when all the other boys in Gresham's class...
Dude, I was sharpening knives.
Yeah, I was sharpening the early leopard experience and sharpening knives and pigs in a bungalow. You're just a strange man. Yeah, but I'm just thinking, so when everybody else is watching porn and downloading, well, they weren't downloading, but they're exchanging magazines or whatever in the 90s, you were busy sharpening knives and looking at food for the day.
Yeah, something like that. And also, like, watching porn and all of that.
You found time for everything.
Yeah, we did.
You believe in the saying, too many
I still
cooks.
have the magazines and all, so it's like...
Excellent.
Dad's stash, so it's...
You haven't heard of the whole computer age and all. You're like me. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, by the way, now that you digress, I'm a big fan of that kind of literature.
Yeah,
in
man.
the sense, it's got its own romance. You pick up a magazine, it's crumpled, it's touched, 50 other men have touched it. What they have left on it, you have no idea. But you feel that in that touch, there's a lot being passed on. There's a romance of pornography which people are not going to get when you just download something, see it on the phone. It doesn't have the same.
That's a different.
Today's
that's
people,
a different era.
I think you should earn your porn. It should be worth it.
It should be handed down to you.
You have to call your pal Samir 10 times. He doesn't answer. Then you have to hide. I remember putting it under my shirt and walking up into my house because you don't want to walk in with your parents.
Man, that time when Debonair was a big thing, right?
Lovely.
So lovely.
Anil Dharkar, Zindabad.
Beautiful stuff, man.
8 pages or 4 pages. I can't remember now.
The center spreads and all are like mad.
Superb. Never read anything in Debonair. Just saw that and,
And the best were the yearly, the end special. So they have all the 12 models.
Yeah, together. Yeah.
So that was the best.
Man, you're a real student of the art. Forget culinary stuff. Food we can order. This is fantastic.
I mean, that time at the Kirana stores and all the Kirana, whatever, those guys who come and take the
guys, the rag picker types, whatever they call
the
Raddi Walas.
Yeah, the Raddi Walas. So
the
Raddi shops used to have like one secret stash session where you actually you go at the back and you get
He'd
porn.
Look at us and he'd probably know this is the market, generally. Very upset if you're onto something that I also want to try.
Yeah, but that's how it is, man.
How sad. Bygone days. And you're making me feel nostalgic. Bandra, which was fields, people were more simple and easygoing. The markets were open, everybody ate everything, everybody was friends, and porn was free. And in paper form. All those days have gone, left us behind. Alright, now let's talk about your journey a little bit. You mentioned all kinds of things, but it was too quick, we couldn't understand. So let's start a little bit from the fact that after Rizvi, you decided to get into the culinary line. And you went somewhere to... Well, it says here you went to Copenhagen.
Yeah, so I was in Copenhagen like 2 years ago.
Oh, it took you that long?
Yeah, man.
Come on, take us back. So from Rizvi?
So from Rizvi, then it was the Leelas. 3 years at the Leela and...
So the Leela, what are you getting? You have to do everything?
Yeah, man, that was like...
They make you cut onions and...
Dude, that was like the
chop
best.
in the kitchen.
I mean, while you were there, you were like screwed. Like you were I mean, you hated your life.
But not in the way that you wanted it to be.
Yeah, man, it was like you worked there for like 12, 14, 16 hours, man, and you put in your time and all of that. Like right now, I have guys who just finished college and all of that, and everybody wants to do this and that, make bubbles, make foam and all of that, and they can't stand 8 hours in the kitchen. But we put in our time, man. And Leela was like, for me, anyone comes and tells me, okay, what, should I go to CIA or Cordon Bleu? And I'm like, all that bullshit. Don't spend 25 lakhs and I'll just get into a good hotel and just work.
That's a fantastic insight. So basically, you spent 3 years in jail in the Leela.
Yeah.
Which built you into becoming the man you are today.
Yeah, man, true. It's you.
Because let me tell people who think cooking is a pansy's job. It's not. It's a really tough job. It's a very macho job.
Man,
you're killing things. Very often you catch a crab, you strangle it. I mean, people
there's a big process, man. I mean, you see life, you see death and all of that. So it's humbling at times and all. Like before Leela's and also, we were killing pigs for Christmas and for New Year and all of that kind of thing. So you see death, you smell blood, you see all of that.
I was talking about chopping tomato and
no, dude.
So that was violent enough. Kill tomato,
Yeah, tomatoes and all are like pansy and all. But yeah, I mean, when you have to peel like 100 kgs of tomatoes for sauce, or you have to. It's a different level,
so
man.
Give us some insights about those 3 years there. What all did you do other than killing animals? Please don't say that.
Man, I think it was the best 3 years of my life, man, because we had like a real rat pack kind of group of guys and all of that. And it was...
Is it true the big chefs are really like aggressive and
they were,
and abuse you and push you around like, football managers? I
mean, back in the day it was really rough. So you had guys like that, man. It was...
Gresham, you're saying back in the day you're 25 years old, man.
No, man, I'm 35. I'm like...
Yeah, but your fucking hairs are all cleaned up, man. You look 25.
No, man, but our chef was a German dude. He was 6'4", something like that. Big guy, Muller, his name, man. That guy was a beast.
He used to organize Bayern Munich's training and then he came right there and attacked you.
That guy was a beast, man. He could.
And so bad language and all, they call you out?
Yeah. Full on. Yeah. I was called for the first 3 years of my life.
In German. With a German accent. How does that go?
German accent.
Why don't you pick up the ball, you stupid Indian?
Never. You didn't have a name for the first 3 years.
Really?
So yeah,
but you didn't take it personally. It was all...
No, man.
Because you're not in the army.
No, I mean, so the thing is, all the guys used to like say... And all right now when you go and meet them, they call you beta. So it's like you're trying to figure out what that whole relationship was.
Man, these guys need therapy. They start by calling you incestuous names and then
they end up calling you beta and all. So it's like...
So Mueller was who? He was like the big...
He was the executive chef of the Leelas and all. And that guy was...
The big papa.
Yeah,
No
he was
one's
the
above
dude.
him.
Yeah, man, he was the dude and all of that. And
because I've seen this in this Gordon Ramsay productions and all, very often this alpha male attitude and this very sergeant major football captain.
Yeah. No, man, the thing
is it necessary?
It is. It's when it's a rush, man. Like cooking is a rush. It's like right now it's not the same. But back in the I'm not going to say that again. But it used to be like madness, man. The kitchen was like a big. It's hot. It's sweaty. You have.
Why would you do the job? I'm thinking about it. You're sitting there, the guy's calling you names. The nicest thing he said is BC or MC to you. And at the end of the day, you spend 16 hours cutting things, chopping things, and there's no appreciation. And you're sweating like a pig.
Man, we had 30 guys that joined. Only 2 guys ended up finishing off 3 years.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
People dropped off like flies.
Yeah.
The German killed them.
Yeah, it's...
I thought you all ended after World War II, man. What's going on?
But, I mean, the thing is that because of that, you like the new people who are in right now, you tell them like, dude, like I've been to that shit. I've seen hell and back and all that. So don't give me this like, okay, my grandmother died. Like, and everybody's grandmother dies during November, December, Jan, in the kitchen, or somebody's mom is in the hospital or somebody's, I don't know, like that shit, man. As long as you're in the hospital, you come to work.
But you took it very seriously. For you, it was a macho thing. You had to go there and fight every day and to survive.
Yeah. Man, the thing was, I think it was a lot of times it was what fueled us. So there's a lot of alcohol and other substances that kind of fuel us. So we used to work 16 hours, get sloshed out our head, sleep for 2 hours and get back to work.
But did Mueller never say anything nice to you? Did he never say, yo, Gresham?
So when I became CDP, when I became chef of the party, right? So it was trainee chef of the party. So he signs my paper and he's
what
like...
chef of the party? I tried to act like I knew, but then after some time I had to.
So that's like, you start handling sections basically. So you handle the butchery or you handle the continent.
So you're like a head of department?
Yeah, like not exactly head of department. There are like other layers to that, but it's like a guy who's responsible for that shift. Yeah, it's like a step up and all. So you're like chef of the party and then he's like, he signs my papers and he's like, okay, the honeymoon's over. I'm like, what the f*** is honeymoon? 3 years was not a honeymoon, man. He's like, now the honeymoon's over. Now's the time when I'm going to types and all that. But yeah, he was great, man. He was a great guy.
He never held your hand and said, sit on my lap, beta, let's talk.
No, dude, that guy used to hold my face. His hands were that big. Yeah, he was that big, man.
He was physically violent.
Dude, he was mad, man.
So the British left in 47, the Germans came about 5 years ago. And
that guy's not hid. That guy had his hands were that big and he had this thing with his thumb, man. Yeah. So if you fucked up, he used to just come and hit you with his thumb on the back and he was that
what
big.
What lack of respect for Indians. He didn't use the fist. He thinks we are so puny, he only took out a thumb. This is...
Oh yeah, but yeah.
This is terrible.
Oh yeah,
very disrespectful. They were so small that I don't need more than this thumb for this small race of people. I will now administer the punishment on his neck. You will see him fall over and he will cut the onion properly. Come on. And then he called you in German. All right, very interesting, man. I think that's more interesting than anything else. I'd love to understand what this work culture is all about. A lot of people out there, young kids, if they listen to this podcast, will think, because now chef is a very glorified sort of a profession. Everybody thinks, you're the man, you're the king, you're the guy who's connected, film stars call you up for tips and all that. But at the end of the day, there's lots of hard yards that have to be put in, and people from foreign countries hit you with thumbs, so it's not always fun.
Yeah, man.
Let's move on, Gresham. Let's talk a little bit about what happened next. You went to Oris. Is that the next step?
Yeah, so Oris was like, so after that we opened Saltwater Grill on Chapati.
So then you met Riaz Amlani, India's fittest man. How was that experience?
It was great, man. We met at some bar, really drunk.
That's always the best place to sign deals. The nuclear proliferation treatment that I am trying to push for Russia and the US to re-sign and allow them to make more nuclear weapons will happen when we're drunk. Did you know you're a chef? What was the...
so a friend of mine used to work with him and they were running Mocha.
Right. That's where they smoke that opium thing.
Yeah. That.
But without opium, obviously.
Without opium,
I don't know for sure, but anyway.
There was a back room.
Yeah. There's always a back room where people get drunk and negotiate contracts. Yeah.
So then I met Riaz and that was the time he was actually opening Saltwater Grill at Chapati.
Right.
And then we ran that space for like 3 years.
Yeah, I've gone there. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, we were really close to the high tide line, so we got
literally. When you said seafood, it disappeared with the sea.
Yeah, man. It was scary.
So it was not a political issue, so nobody came and took away your license.
No, I mean...
Come on, be honest. It's a podcast.
I mean...
We don't do this in India. You can't be traced back. We're here in Kathmandu. We're safe. No one can touch us. Go on.
No, man.
Okay, forget it. Tell them we're at Lincoln Road. Pick us up in a minute. Yeah.
No, so the thing is that you can have a set property... a built-in property if the ruling is before 1980. If it was after that, you cannot build a structure around the high tide line and all of that. So it was some random stuff that was there, and the licenses were on off, that kind of.
I have a lot of political pull. Give me the names of the people who came after you. Just point fingers in the right direction. We'll get Mueller to come after them with his thumbs. Remember, his other thumb is free at all times.
Yeah, but it's cool, man. I mean, it was a great space because we did like some...
It was a fantastic place to take a girl. I got to tell you, I think this was what, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And it's one of the nicest experiences if you're going on a date because you've got... For Mumbai, honestly, we don't have that kind of ambience. For once, you have sea, you have, sky, you have openness. It was lovely.
Yeah,
I was quite disappointed it's
but
closed
the
down.
worst was during Christmas, man. Not Christmas, during the monsoons. It's because the sea comes and takes you. So half your sofas and your plates and all of that in the ocean, man. So you have
It's a different dining experience.
Yeah. So in the morning, guys are actually going fishing for their plates and the spoons, and the sofa's gone into the ocean and all. So yeah, it was pretty mad.
Let's not point fingers at the weather. Monsoon is one of the best times of the year. It wipes out lots of Indians as well. We should be grateful. Let's talk a little bit then. From there, you're still with Riaz.
Yeah.
And then you moved on to Oris.
Yeah, so then I joined Vicky and gang, and we were in Oris. So Oris was another 2 years, but it was great. I mean, that time...
So you left Saltwater Grill, you're not with Riaz now?
No.
Okay.
So 2 years...
You cheated on Riaz with Vicky, basically.
Something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. But those guys were doing really interesting...
Who's the better foodie, Vicky or...
Riaz.
Yeah,
man.
That's because you're back with Riaz?
No, man. The thing is...
You want the Riaz from Riaz?
No, the thing is that guy, he knows his shit, man. And he can go back to like 10 years and say, okay, this is the dish and taste it like that. And that, very few people have that scene, man.
When you say that, you mean he can actually taste the dish 10 years old? Or?
Man, if I... No, yeah.
So go back to an old girlfriend. Shefali, I remember. Sweet guy.
Like yeah.
So you really say this guy really knows his onions?
Yeah, he does. He knows his shit, man.
What is Vicky good at? Oh, long pause. Awkward moment. We'll move on.
Vicky was good at a lot of things, man.
Yeah? Not in the kitchen, is it? He would lay the table.
No, this is not Ratnani. This is Vicky Singh.
Oh, this is Vicky Singh?
Yeah.
You told Ratnani.
No, Vicky Ratnani came much later.
So everybody's called Vicky at Oris. Is that like
so Vicky Singh was the guy who owned Oris. Vicky Ratnani was the guy, was the chef.
Was the chef?
Yeah. So that was after I left. Vicky came in after I left. But
so who's Vicky Singh?
Vicky Singh was the owner, man.
Okay, we stand corrected. We wasted half an hour of your time, ladies and gentlemen. Vicky Ratnani wasn't even involved. He wasn't even there. He was still to come in the future. There's an episode of Star Wars which hasn't yet reached us. But it was Vicky Singh who caused him a lot of pain. He would hold Gresham's neck in the same way Mueller did, but his hands wouldn't go round. His one wasn't quite as big. We'll take a quick break, then we'll come back. Lots more to talk about with Gresham Fernandes. But as we're going to break, 3 quick food questions. Gresham, what is your favorite dish?
Sarpatar.
Okay, we'll come back and discuss in detail. Favorite drink?
Gin and tonic.
Favorite girl? Long pause. It's okay. Same-sex marriages allowed in the country when we come back.
Cyrus says, stop picking your nose, listen to this ad. India's first storytelling podcast is out now. You can download Tall Tales Takeaway on our website, indusvox.com, or on your favorite podcasting app on iOS, Android, and Windows. And that's what Cyrus says.
All right, back here on Cyrus Says with Gresham Fernandes. He's an upcoming chef. He's not upcoming. He's already there. He's arrived and he's going places. Worked in many big establishments. I've just cleaned up an issue. At Oris in Juhu, one of his second or third jobs, he was with Vicky Singh. Yeah. It didn't work out. He moved to Vicky Ratnani. And now he's looking at going to Sri Lanka with Vicky Singh, who's a completely different dish. All right, but as we went to break, we discussed your favorite food, sorpatel.
Yeah.
Love a good sorpatel, man. But so, why isn't there enough Goan food in Mumbai? Considering there's a strong Goan population.
Because the thing is, Bombay is not Goan. I mean, tell me one East Indian place. Bombay is East Indian. But you have zero East Indian.
Okay, so why isn't there East Indian food in Bombay?
Because, man, I don't know. I have no idea.
We have the same 5 types of food.
Yeah, the thing... I don't know, man. So there's
something wrong with us as people that we don't want to be try different cuisines and experiment. Is that it? Are we just too conservative?
I don't know, man.
Is it why men don't go down on women? I mean, that could be one of the reasons. We just don't want to explore.
It's like there are 1 or 2 Goan spaces and all, but
come on, man, Gresham, I've tried all these places. There's like 2.5 places in the whole city.
But then, I mean, for me also, I don't go out and eat at these places. I'd rather eat at home than eat at these places. I'm just saying,
why isn't there for the non-Goan to enjoy Goan food, for example? Why isn't it there?
I don't know, man.
Actually, even Parsi food is dying. It's not like there's about 3.5 of those.
But see, the Parsi food, like minus Britannia, the other places, whichever other restaurant that's doing Parsi food, is not. It's restaurant Parsi food. It's not home Parsi food.
No, it's not. No.
So for a guy for me, when I eat a sarpatel or a vindaloo, I'd rather have it in a.
You'll be critical, but that's with all communities. You'll be critical of the food when it's outside the home because it has to match the palate. No, fair enough. Favorite tipple?
Gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic. And that's from the beginning when Muller used to drive you mad.
No, beginning was Old Monk and Coke, man.
Because that was
Full
consensus.
on. Yeah, that was
consensus drinking.
Yeah.
Forced to share.
Yeah. It was Old Monk and Coke, and then it's still beer. Beer's always there.
Yeah.
And, but they don't have not a lot of Guinness or Murphy's, that kind of bitter stuff out here.
Yeah,
but
why did Stout and all die here? They actually took it out about 10 years back. I don't know if you were around.
Yeah.
And I love Stout, but it just, again, disappeared.
But, like, they're getting it back. Like, Shepherd's Neem is in.
Again, I'm asking you, do we have some strange taste buds that we don't take to
man.
this?
I don't know. I think it's everybody.
Bitter beer doesn't work in India.
Anything bitter in India doesn't work, man. Even if it's Karela.
Bitter politicians work. They're working fine. I've dated a few bitter girls. So have you. Tell the truth.
True, yeah, true.
We're still bitter. Yeah, that's true. So I was just trying to think, is there a possibility that we just are too conservative? We think we're very liberal, but we aren't. It's symbolic of our thought process.
Yeah, it is.
We don't try.
I mean, it's how people are, man. It's like you get people in the restaurant and they call themselves foodies, but like for example, we do a swine dine where we cook the whole pig, right?
Right.
So we did one in Bangalore. And everybody's like, okay, I'm a foodie, I love pork and all. So when I told them I'm serving them liver and tongue and brain, and those guys are like squeamish. I'm like, dude, come on. If you're a foodie and you like
don't be selective. You're being like racist.
Don't pick up like tenderloin and pork chop. That's it. The pig is not too cut.
Do you slap the customer? Have you ever been very aggressive?
Man.
But you do want
so
to.
many times, dude. And
have you spat in the food? Have you spat in the food?
Never.
Tell me. Why? Come on.
No, man.
You must.
No.
Have you urinated in the food?
No.
Have you picked your nose and then dug it in?
No.
Have you just wiped it around your groin area and then served it? Now, how will I never know what you've done?
Man, that's something that I like.
But has anyone around you done it? Has someone washed his behind with the same plate and then served the salad?
No, man, dude. I think
the hell?
I mean, you see a lot of this stuff happening on American TV, but it does not happen.
So you don't take your goodness out when a guy gives a bad order, irritating.
You abuse the fuck out of him. Like you throw shit, you break plates and all, but you don't f with the food.
So customer remains king.
Yeah, man, dude. That's the worst part.
So unfair. It's one reason why I won't become a chef ever. That and the fact that I'm scared of fire. All right, let's go back to your life now. So you go to Copenhagen in the middle of all this. You suddenly get up and leave.
Yeah, so post that, I mean, it was like 10 years into cooking, and I kind of realized that you're reaching a point where you're making menus, you're setting everything up and all of that, and then you just wanted to like shut doors and just rework. You want to work again, man. Like for me right now, it's like 10 hours.
You felt you had sold out.
Yeah, I think so, man.
In the middle, and you wanted like a refresher course or just go back to
I think I just wanted to like push it back in, man. Like,
okay, now enough lies. You just heard about Danish chicks.
No, man.
Come on, tell me the truth.
But Danish chicks are really ugly, actually.
How can you make racist comment like that? We have the Germans after all because of Mueller. Now you say this about the chicks. Then you attack the pigs. I'm going to have too many law cases.
Man, I didn't see one good Danish chick.
Are you serious?
Yeah, true, man.
What about the men? Danish pastries? No, come on.
But
not one pretty Danish girl? Listen, I've watched Scandinavian.
The thing was, I used to get up at 5 a.m, head to work and finish at 11 at night. So,
Gresham, you're going too fast. How the hell did you reach Copenhagen? And what happened at Smokehouse Room in New Delhi in 2011?
Oh yeah, we forgot Smokehouse Room.
Very big event.
Okay, yeah. So then after Oris happened, and also Oris also was was great. Was good fun. We were doing like
it was more a nightclub, no more drinking joint.
Yeah.
I remember we shot there a few times.
Yeah.
And the people come to drink. Do they actually come to eat?
Yeah, I mean initially there was a good eating crowd, and then after that it moved into this very Friday night kind of
wild night drinking.
And then I was like, man, I'm not cooking.
Who was the worst behaved guest you saw?
A bunch of them and all.
Which famous celebrity was really knocked out of his mind?
Half of Bollywood, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude.
Would you pick them up from the plate where their heads had fallen inside the food and all that?
No, man. Half of them are
So you won't appreciate it. You're making food and they're all drunk and no one is really understanding what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's somebody's got some intolerance, somebody's working out, somebody's got a movie coming up, somebody's not eating salt, like, dude, you're not actually cooking food, man. It's like you're a servant in somebody else's house.
You're a bit of a star, aren't you? You don't want to put up with their little tantrums. If they don't like the food, the way you're preparing it, out.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when you're banging out orders, when you have 100 freaking covers in, and then you have somebody, I don't want this, I don't want that, I want this, like this. It kind of gets pissing off at times and all that.
So then what happens to Smokehouse Room in New Delhi? Where did the dream gastronomical project come from?
So then post that, I left and I joined Riaz again. And then we opened Salvador Cafe and Smokehouse Delhi and Stonewater Grill. And then we moved down to...
So how did you go back to Riaz? Having left him once, I mean, was he okay? Was he hurt? Did he cry?
I think so. I don't know. I've not actually had that conversation.
So did you call him up? How did you reconnect?
So...
you were drunk again in the back room of Mocha with that long pipe.
No, man. He was...
This time he was holding it behind you. Tell me.
No, so this was again, we met at some party or something like that, and both of us are drunk again, and he's like, what's happening, what's cooking? And I'm like, nothing's cooking right now. He said, okay, I have something cooking. So I said, okay, let's do it. And that's how it happened, man.
So you walked out of orders?
Yeah, man, and they were not doing much food-wise, so I was like, okay, that's cool.
And the smokehouse room in New Delhi, you feel that's a better area for food?
Man, that was like, we put in so much of time in that space. Like, we put in like at least 2 years or 3 years of freaking...
A modernist fine dining restaurant, it was described by critics.
Yeah. We did some match stuff out there.
What was it?
So we did like a whole... for 2 months, we roamed around in Spain and France. And we just picked up food wherever we went, man, and picked up ideas.
What a great life. Who pays for the Spain and France trip?
The company. Riaz was there.
Wow. So Riaz obviously has big pockets to go to this rather large nature. Huh.
Yeah, no, so the thing was, we want to know what like technically when you have foreign chefs coming and cook in the country, they'll always blame the ingredient, saying, okay, it's not like something I ate, or this is not like the ingredient, the potatoes are not the same, or the apples are not the same, and all. So we're like, okay, fine, let's go down to their country and see how food tastes like. And it was great, and some food like really blew our socks off.
So if you went to Smokehouse Room in New Delhi, you get the ingredients from abroad?
No, man, so it's just understanding the idea of where you come from and what your ingredients are, and our people is like hardcore cuisine or Michelin star cuisine really that great? And I say no, man. There are certain restaurants, I mean, there are like you see the top 10 restaurants in the world and all of that, but I think the best food that we've had was on the streets, man, and was...
Gresham, the best food is always free food. Remember that. It's a very simple thing for life. Well, coming back to the Smokehouse Room in New Delhi, do you realize that it's called Smokehouse Room, but you're not allowed to smoke because of the Pan-India order against smoking?
No, that was before that.
So you open it before they stop you smoking?
Yeah, before that.
And three days later, smoking is finished.
Yeah.
So you have to remove smokes. It's called House Room in New Delhi. Is that still on? Is it still there?
No, that place is shut right now. The thing why...
Did you do well for some time?
We did well for a while. We did well for a year. And then
did Kejriwal eat there?
No.
Did Namo eat there?
No, those guys were
no BJP, no Rahul Gandhi drop in? Because you cannot drive a restaurant in Delhi without political presence. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah. We had the king and queen of Bhutan once, I think so.
That's not going to do it. I love them. Respect is there, but that's not going to do it. You got to get the 5-6 big names in politics.
Yeah, no, man, we didn't have
Nothing works. You go on a children's party, you need Rahul Gandhi to attend it. Or Namo, or Kejriwal, all three. That would be great. You need presence.
No,
Delhi's
man,
about
we
presence.
didn't have that.
And I'll talk to Riaz about that. Now I want to get back to Copenhagen. I interrupted you in the middle. Very interesting. What were you doing in Copenhagen? Now you said you wandered Latin Europe for a couple of months to find life and source things and meet girls. But in Copenhagen you went to learn. So you went to do a course.
Yeah, so I did a stage at Noma. So Noma then was the world's best restaurant. And basically you go there to work for free.
Noma has been ranked best restaurant for many years.
3 years.
4 years in a row. And so there only 30 people, am I right? Only 30 people around the world, and you were the only Indian.
That time.
But that's tremendous, man.
No,
that's
so there were
the Olympics of food. So you're in the top 30 people who in the best restaurant in the world.
I mean, it's good. I mean,
let's be honest now. You don't have to feel bad.
When you read it out, it's all great. But it's you write to them and you tell them, okay, fine. I want to work.
And you must have written, I like Danish girls. You wouldn't have been.
No, I didn't actually. Yeah. I don't know, man, dude. I just wrote to them, and a friend of mine was already there before, and he said like, you got to be here. I just wrote to them and they accepted me. And then you kind of realize that, you're executive chef, blah, blah, blah. And then you have a guy who's coming from a pizza joint, and you have a guy who's just out of college and all. So it's like,
30 best guys in the world.
Yeah. So you have this whole, that's what I'm trying to tell people. It's cool. It's like 30 people get chosen. And I don't know how they choose them also though. But it's an experience where you have the average age of everybody there is like 23, 24, man. And I was like 32. I was like the oldest guy in the kitchen, except for Rene and Lars. And it was great because you get to kind of push it with the 20-year-olds.
So how was it? How was that whole experience?
It was mad, man. I mean, I didn't want to come back actually.
Yeah?
It was great. I mean, if you don't have a wife and you don't have like a social life, that's a great situation to be in and on, because you work from 6 in the morning till like 10 in the night, and you're off Sundays and Mondays. So Saturday night is when you just go all out, man. Like guys, I know guys.
Did you have sex with Danish women?
No, man. I was married that time, dude. So I couldn't.
Where was your wife?
She was in Bombay.
Your wife's in Bombay on Copenhagen. I don't want to tell you this, but do the maths. I mean, it's 2 continents away. I mean, really?
No, man.
You were faithful for 2 years.
Still am.
But now she's with you. You should be. While you were in Copenhagen, God gave you a chance. And you came back saying, I don't like Danish food.
I mean, there have been many chances. Like the biggest chance was Brazil, so it was like nothing happened in Brazil.
What were you doing in Brazil?
So again, we were doing a food to check
From Copenhagen, you went to Brazil?
No, Brazil was before.
Okay. And there are lots of girls who were interested in you.
I don't know, man. Half of them speak Portuguese. So
that doesn't matter. You can tell from the eyes. Were the eyes going like, looking
quite
at you?
a lot, yeah.
And you looked at a picture of your wife and just backed off? Or Riaz Amlani? What was the picture that you looked at?
I had a friend of mine who was there, so...
A female friend?
Yeah, a female friend who knew Portuguese, and she kept telling me like, okay, back off. So yeah.
So you traveled the world and not touched a girl?
Yeah, man.
And they've come on to you and you said no? Oh man,
sad life, man.
Mullah must have really destroyed your confidence. What the hell's wrong with that German guy? I'm going to take it up with him when I ever meet him. Alright, so Copenhagen, interesting. Would you say you came back a better chef 2 years there?
Yeah, came back a better... I mean...
Do we Indians appreciate the kind of food that a Noma would make? I mean, I have no idea.
There were a lot of Indians actually coming out there. Like, Denmark has this major oil situation out there, a lot of rigs and all. So you see a lot of Indians coming over there, man. And
but I think it is an upmarket restaurant and expensive.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive, man. You can't get a table out there. I mean, they open every 3 months for reservations, and 500 seats going out in like 10 minutes. So yeah, you have, but I think it's also the space, like how you have the Delhiites. In like when you open a restaurant, you have the Bombay crowd and you have the Delhi crowd. So suddenly when you have a Delhi person eating in a Bombay restaurant, it's like, hey, Delhi sai, all that shit.
It's a little louder. There's no much of a difference.
Yeah, but so in Denmark, it's you have the Russians. So whenever there's they don't take Russians in their restaurant. It's because those guys are just loud and they're just obnoxious, so they don't...
Well, we take Russians on this podcast. I think this is a really wrong attitude. How dare they behave like that? What happened to the ugly duckling and Hans Christian Andersen?
Yeah.
So, but what kind of cuisine is Noma?
So, Noma was... so, it's new Nordic, but Scandinavian, but they're using a lot of...
So, basically, there's no sauces, nothing. You just give a boiled fish and sort of
but
play with it, you pat it, you teach it how to fetch a ball, you eat it.
Yeah, that was before Noma happened. Post Noma, there was this whole revival of Scandinavian food after Noma. And it's great because those guys were using a lot of Japanese techniques. They were doing their own things. There were people who just come randomly and drop off ingredients and vegetables and all of that thing. And you kind of realize, like, that's the time when I started realizing, I mean, when you got to pull out a carrot from the ground that's frozen, it takes work, man. So you start respecting your ingredients.
No wonder you didn't date any women. Look what you're doing with your life. You go to Copenhagen, you find a carrot underground, you spend hours looking at it and pulling it out. Come on, Gresham, change your life and your attitude. If cooking is just part of your life, you should have had more of a world experience. Yeah. I went to acting school in New York for 4 months. I never left the bedroom. That's what all actors do. Come on, you can't do that. Okay, listen, but a very interesting life, and I think it's fantastic that you went to Copenhagen. So probably a lot of confidence now because you've got this whole European, Scandinavian side to you as well. And when you come back to India, you're like the first son of that. But then we go to where you are right now, which is you're the executive chef at Impresario, which is the Salt Water Cafe, Smokehouse Room, Smokehouse Grill, Smokehouse Delhi. And now this has become a seriously big chain.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is... it's great because it started off from the first restaurant that was Saltwater Grill, and then it went on to Smokehouse. So I've been part of every restaurant, like every Smokehouse Delhi that opened, we opened it. We used to design the kitchen. So it's
So you're not just a food guy. You look at the decor, you look at the ambience, you look at what you're offering, everything.
Man, the thing is when Riaz and the team sits on a design, it's not his, okay, this is how it is going to be or the food's going to be like this. There's a lot of, the design guy will sit and say, okay, let's try and work on this kind of stuff, or let's work on this plate, or this is the... a lot of our ideas come through design. So we have one of our friends, Ayaz, the bus ride.
Yeah.
So, I mean... we get a lot of ideas from him also, and we say, okay, this is what we're looking at, this is the food should be, and we take and the whole social menu was made when we actually got really drunk.
Why is that so popular?
Man, the thing
with due respect, I've been there.
Because that's drunk man's food, right?
You think?
Yeah, totally, man. We got drunk.
Nobody can get in, and I've not understood why. With due respect, again, I'm saying
you're too old.
It's nice
that,
food.
Man.
Yeah, I'm just too old. Me and my fat friend Kunal look at each other and think, okay, so this is, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually get into the car social if you go with skateboards. So just like take fucking... Yeah, because the skate parks...
The Kulaba social, if we wait half an hour, they take pity on us.
I mean, you guys won't fit in the...
We don't fit. We're all really young, but it's bustling. And I don't know how you guys get that right. I keep trying to figure out, do you know what you're doing or it just happens?
I think social was a game changer for us and all of that. I think it was something we didn't know what was going to happen with social.
I think your competitors were all bleeding after that because nobody could understand how you had such a big... and it's still running, touch wood, to full houses as we speak.
And the thing was, the best part of that, making that whole menu was we got really drunk one night and we said, okay, what are you going to eat when you're really drunk?
So what we got from your story so far is that
we drink a lot.
Yeah, you drink a lot and all your greatness comes from drinking. This is what we're telling youngsters out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't ride a bike.
Yeah. Don't drive yourself.
Yeah, don't do that
There's
shit,
enough in the papers about that.
Just like...
But you can cook after drinking. But don't put on the microwave or anything electronic.
Yeah. We don't use
and don't chop things with big knives. But that even when you're not drinking, that's a little scary.
Yeah.
All right. So let's now... Gypsy Kitchen is whose then? Is that also part of the same franchise?
Gypsy Kitchen is, again, something that the three of us started was Riaz, myself and Ayaz. And the idea was to kind of safeguard recipes that were kind of dying out in our mind. So,
apparently it's all your grandmother's recipes. Is that true?
Yeah. So the thing is, when you look at Indian food abroad, it's the regular, dal makhni, rogan josh, this kind of thing. But actual Indian food is what's eaten in the home, right? I mean, when you don't have 20 masalas that go into your dal, it's just dal.
Indian food is what you sort of don't get at home also because, we're Indians, so we don't get fed that much. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, but even that's another point, man, because a lot of... and see, the thing is, the whole idea with Gypsy Kitchen was like to kind of safeguard recipes that were like at least 50, 60 years old, man, because we've told the grandmothers to cook dishes that her mother used to cook.
So it's not... You don't all have the same grandmother. separate grandmother. I was a little confused about the whole concept.
No. But the idea was to kind of get grandmothers to cook, man, and
so this is actual grandmother cooking food which you put on paper.
Yeah. Proper food that they're cooking, and we document it. And I mean, a lot of the stuff that we get was from the grandmothers that used to cook in Bandra. So I mean, their stories of having their own pigs and ducks and that thing
and don't forget the one with the leopard not eaten, but
it existed, man. I mean, you had to go I mean, every house used to have a pantry where you had your grain and everything stored and all of that, so
those days are gone, brother. Those days are gone. Just let it go. But now that you mentioned meat, between chicken, pork, beef, lamb, mutton, and fish, which would be your favorite? Pork number one
anytime, man.
And number two? I'm just looking at India, 10 years ahead, we won't have beef, we won't have pork, mutton will be banned, chicken maybe, So I'm just trying to think, where could you go?
I think the second one was beef.
Would be beef.
Yeah.
Which we've already lost. What is your opinion on the beef ban as a hotelier?
It's tough, man. I mean, it's when you start mixing religion with, food, it kind of gets, it's very weird. So
from a clinical point of view, you're not happy with it?
I'm not actually.
I
mean, the thing is...
Will you vote the government back to power?
I've not voted in my life, so it's...
Because you're in bloody Copenhagen, pulling up carrots from the ground. You can't get a life, man. How can you not date a single girl? I can't get my head around that. You spent 2 years... Are you telling the truth? Is this the truth? Man. You didn't go out with a girl once?
Dude, we were too tired. You just, either...
You're never too tired for women.
Man, you are. There is a point, man. When you start working in the
kitchen... But didn't they come on to you and say, exotic Indian man?
No, man. You freaking cold and shit like that. It was nothing like that. No.
2 years in Copenhagen?
No, not 2 years. It was 3 months in Copenhagen.
Okay. Once again, my research department has done unbelievably well and given me 2 years for 3 months. Go on standing correction after correction as the show goes on. But I just want to ask you... are we going away from meat here in India? Is there a feeling for meat lovers that meat is going to be taken away from us?
Yeah, man, there is. I mean...
and as a chef, you want to cook meat, right?
I do. It's the thing is, everybody's into this whole, paleo diets and all these other weird ass diets that are happening and all, man. I just say eat and work out and that's it, man. It's all you have to do.
Oh, as Riaz was telling me and I was telling him, just eat.
Yeah, just eat, man.
Don't waste time with the workout, man.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, you the newer generation right now, what's actually happening, the reason why we started Gypsy Kitchen was we're losing dishes. When we grew up as kids, we never had the best cuts of meat. We didn't have tenderloin. Tenderloin steak right now is a new thing for us. Right. We always ate the tongue or the brain or the cheeks or the shins and the tail and that kind of kidney and all of that. So that was like poor man's meat. And then tenderloin was either exported or whatever.
Something you saw in a movie.
Yeah. Ribeyes are now, it's like a new thing right now. So we grew up eating that, right? Now if you put kidneys on the menu, you put liver on the menu, people don't eat that because the whole generation now eats chicken breast or they eat tenderloin steak and it has shit flavor, man. Those are cuts that don't have flavor. I mean, So the thing is, everybody's just kind of moving away from this whole. So they only know like, okay, pork has pork chops and pork belly, and that's it.
Would you be a vegetarian chef in another India?
I'm actually cooking a lot of vegetarian right now.
Happily? Are you good?
Yeah. I'm
Or are you
finding
racist? I want to cook non-veg.
No, I mean there's a good balance. So I'll cook my potatoes with duck fat or pork fat. So
Are you better cook than your wife?
She doesn't know how to cook, man.
What does she do? Accounts?
She does a bunch of things, man.
But there's no stereotype here. You're the cook at home as well?
Yeah, mostly.
But would you want to go back after hours and hours at work and go back and cook again?
Man, it's she's a good cook, but like she's learned to cook right now. She's learning to cook. But there are certain things when she cooks, it just blows your mind of like, okay, this is really great, you know. So it's and we don't eat that much at home, man.
I can imagine you got about 32 restaurants you're running at the moment. So
I can't eat it.
I can understand.
So her dinner is probably bhel puri or chips.
Let's ask you 4-5 personal questions before we wrap up. What's the future? What's next now with this franchise going strong?
I don't know, man. Better restaurants. Something, I think, something very underground, something guerrilla, away from this whole hype of, page 3, that kind of.
Yeah,
cooking.
it's too much of that, man. What about this blogger market? How seriously do you take these bloggers?
I don't, man. I stopped. That's
Are you on any network? Are you trying to send your views as well?
I don't actually. I'm hardly on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. That's it. No longer on Twitter. So it's just too much of information, and it's there like, okay, I didn't like this or I didn't like that. Man, there was some blogger guy who had come down to a restaurant, and we gave him a bread basket, and he'd ordered a burger, right? And we gave him a bread basket before that, and he just walked out and he just shat all over us, man. And he's basically gone and said that the burger didn't have a patty, so he actually thought that the bread basket was a burger.
What was the guy's name?
Man, I have no. These guys have like all Darth Vader.
So did you write back to him? Did you?
Man, these guys. The thing is, you write back to them, but nobody answers.
The damage is done.
Yeah, the damage is done.
Sent whatever people believe it.
Yeah. So
it's amazing.
So it's that kind of situation. So I don't care too much for them. There are a few great guys. Like Kunal is one guy. I mean,
Mike Kunal, the fat guy.
Yeah, dude, that guy has and Vikram Doctor, and these are people like you kind of look up to, but the rest are like.
Now that you mentioned Kunal, he's sick. He's a sick man, and he takes food too personally. But he's also very biased towards non-vegetarian food, so you're always in a safe place with him. But I wanted to ask you a couple more questions about. So what else do you do? You can't just be a cook all your life. I mean, as in your professional life, please be a cook all your life. But what else do you do?
But I also play music.
You really?
So I DJ. I do a lot of like techno.
So do you DJ at the Smokehouse gigs as well?
Yeah, so most of Smokehouse Delhi openings I play, and then post that there are like Bonobo and some place in Bangalore, Delhi.
So you play for money as well. You get paid.
I wish I get paid. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But it's more about just playing music, man. Because I grew up with a lot of music. I wanted to be a DJ before I became a chef. So my mother was like, "Dude, that's not the life you're going to live." So I had to become a chef. I had to cook.
Well, so maybe one day you'll have both. When you decide to start running the restaurants on your own, this partnership with Riaz and Ayaz is for life, is it?
Yeah, man. I think I'm not blessed with these two guys, you know.
Huh?
Yeah.
Inseparable.
Man, these are the worst guys to have as friends because they'll come up with the most idea, and then you have to like follow that idea, and then it's very random. Like there's this major talk that's going to happen on food in Jan. And Ayaz has come out with something that we're just gonna take over the stage.
Really?
And we're just gonna like say these are not the issues that we are looking at. These are the issues that we should look at.
You're gonna use your bluntness to your advantage. What do you think of food shows on television?
It's cool, man. I don't know. It's like
you follow anybody? Jamie Oliver,
Like I follow a lot of Anthony Bourdain and
he's a little offbeat now, isn't he?
Yeah, him and David Chang and that Mind of a Chef, those kind of series and all.
So not the more popular, quintessential, run of the mill.
There was this great guy. He runs this thing called Tales of the Bush Larder.
Mm-hmm. I've seen
Indian
that.
guy in Africa. So I like him.
He's the guy with the grandmother.
Huh?
Is he the guy who cooks with the grandmother?
Yeah, with the old. He has some random stuff and all, man. But those are guys. Those are guys.
What do you think of MasterChef?
I don't know, man. It's very sketchy and all. It's like WWF.
You don't believe in it. MasterChef India?
Both.
Yeah? Who's the best Indian chef that you've ever met or seen? Or rather, food you've tasted?
Imtiaz Qureshi, man.
still number one.
Dude, yeah, I
And
see
from
him on
this
Cut
new
Road every
generation-
morning, man.
And this Michelin star return fellows from all over that you see on TV.
Cool, man. It's all media.
It's all media.
It's
Not
all
your
media.
thing.
It's great food, but the thing is, the media just hypes it up so much that, this is the greatest ice cream that this guy has made, and then when you actually taste it, your mind is actually telling you should listen to what you've read, but you actually it's okay, it's just ice cream, so it's...
All right. Gresham Fernandes, thank you so much for being here. It's been wonderful learning about your life, your times, and the fact that you were destroyed by a German chef who just completely blew your mind, hurt you with his thumb, after which I... found out that you drank a lot and all your ideas came when you're drunk, your partnerships were signed when you were drunk, and you've never touched a girl in Europe because you don't want to. And you're straight. You're straight as an arrow. So God bless you. I hope your DJ career takes off because I think you're completely nuts. Gresham Fernandes, hot and happening.
Thanks,
it's called
guys.
Cyrus Says.
Cyrus says, ask me anything. If you want Cyrus to answer your questions on air, send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com. If you send us a link to a sound file on SoundCloud, we'll even play you asking the question in your own voice. And that's what Cyrus says.
Yeah, we're with Gresham Fernandes one last time on a section called AMA here on Cyrus Says. Gresham is a cook who believes that too many cooks don't spoil the broth if they're drunk, and talking at the same time and signing papers. All his ideas came when he was drunk, May, and he's been fantastic. His entire life he's almost like a Gandhian in a sense. He's just lived a very, very, very straight life in terms of ethics and morality. He has never touched a girl outside the country. He just doesn't do it. Desi products for this man.
Dude, I mean...
He
No, but
just
that
shops
basically means
here.
that he's touching all Indian women.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he's a man of
Could be the other
principles.
side.
He was scarred by a German. See, I've learned a lot in a few minutes with him. A German,
More than I
superb
have.
German maestro cook. Okay, chef is the right word, not cook. And that guy inspired him, but he was also a bit of I wouldn't use this word, but a bit of a tyrant. Not using any political party from Germany. And he would then, impose his views on this young man physically. He would punch him in the face, kick him in the nose. He would take his head and bang it against his knee, and then he would say Merry Christmas in between, and then he would take a thumb and bang him in the back of the head with the thumb because he felt that he was so puny he didn't need the full hand. It's really embarrassing, the whole story. And he would use Indian galis with a German accent. How would you like to be called? You
man.
Bye, yeah.
Mad.
Yeah, but he loves the guy. He says those 3 years made him into the person he is today. Without
That's
that
really
beating,
good.
slapping, kicking, and he thinks people are too soft in the business now.
Yeah,
Because everybody
man,
comes like a star. They did 1 year.
Man, everyone's... I've seen girls having...
You've seen no girls. Don't you lie.
No, I mean there are few chicks I know who
Yeah,
are
yeah.
Few
chefs.
chicks, you heard
Yeah.
that?
And those guys, they have more balls than most of the guys in the kitchens right now, man. It's
But somehow you're feeling the curtain blur experience and all. You're not really. People go and do a 3-month course, 4-month course, and come back. You're not impressed. You want them to go into the kitchen, dirty their
And
hands.
the best guys in my kitchen are my dishwashers, man. Those guys have, all the guys who are running my kitchen right now were started off as dishwashers, and they just moved up the line.
You're like the 36 Chambers of Shaolin, the food version. You got to start at the
man,
bottom
the
and
best.
make your way at the top. But you have
my
to
God.
pay for your entire life by sweat and blood and tears. That's what he's trying to say. And these guys who have perhaps from better affluent families go there, get a little 3-month course going, 4-month course going. They're not good enough cooks. May you're one of those people because you went to Bahrain and
Listen,
did a course.
I'm the official guinea pig for anyone. You want me to try something, I'll eat it.
I don't know. I'm just saying that for him it's a very macho thing, this whole cooking experience, and he expects people to sit there and
It is. And you know
gotta
what?
work through
Till
the-
date,
you gotta work through the
I
whole
think
thing.
last Christmas, you told me about this epic hot chocolate
Oh yeah, did you?
that
taste-
I've still not
It's on.
tried
It's on.
it.
It's on.
From last Christmas, the woman has waited because she's so
No
stupid.
way.
She thought that she could come back on the 26th, not realizing that Christmas comes once a year. So May has come back.
No, but you actually
One
came
year.
on the 26th also.
That's
I
Boxing Day.
did not. We
Doesn't
didn't
count.
see each other.
Some weird. Yeah,
No,
but it's
I
One minute. You
don't
spent the
know.
night on 25th with him, and on 26th morning you were back there. What are you saying?
I'm actually not Malayali. I'm German.
You're
so-
Indian. If you're German, you won't be allowed in. Unless you're Mueller's daughter. Oh, I don't know what's happening there, man, with this guy. All right. Can we do the AMA?
Yes. Okay. This is from the only listener via the website, and the subject is
The
architect.
only listener by the website.
I don't know. That's what they've said.
So
and
his title is longer than his question. His question is like, what?
Yeah. Why? Literally, why do apartments in Mumbai have little mesh boxes outside their windows?
Why
if everyone, why do apartments in Mumbai have little mesh boxes outside their windows? If everyone has to have one, can't it be coordinated with adding aesthetic value to the building?
Very interesting. Let the chef, because he's the artist here, let him take this. Why do they have these strange things outside, which they mar the entire look? This is true. Mumbai is a city which doesn't have a look. One building looks like this, one building looks like that. There's no pattern, there's no sense of style.
It's pretty shitty because, everybody will have their vessels and their ladders and all of those kind of things out. And this is actually a question for Ayaz, not for me, because that guy gets...
Oh, Ayaz, Basra.
Yeah, Basra. He gets pretty pissed off, man. He's like, why the like he's working on this whole Bandar project kind of situation where he's trying to tell the builders, okay, fuck, you're going to break the ghotans and build buildings. Just make sure that all the buildings look the same. So,
and with a certain sense of aesthetic, where everybody understands it and enjoys it.
Bombay is not sexy. It's like when you go down to London, you see the buildings out there, everything looks the same.
You go to certain areas, like you look at Camden and it's
for
totally
us, the
different
balcony is not to recline on and smoke a cigarette or look out at birds. For us, it's to put clothes on. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
The balcony, anything with an opening, you basically put clothes on it, and for some reason, that's what makes the building. So it's amazing. You see dupatta number 1 to dupatta number 20, just different colors: pink, yellow, green, blue. Foreigners pass, you see, wow, that's fantastic. They live like Native Americans, with the wigwams and the tents and all that. It's amazing. Good question. I like this man. I hate his title, but I think he's right. But our answer is, we need people like Ayaz Basrai, if I remember right.
Yeah.
The right people in the right place to engineer a project, because it was an unplanned city. We are almost like an unplanned child. We just happened. So nobody's taking care of us. And now you're trying to, at the age of 28, redo the education in primary school, which you can't do.
Yeah.
I hope I've confused people enough so they don't ask this question ever
what
again.
He means by mesh box. Is that where the
mesh box is? It's Gujarati for what you light a cigarette with. Mesh box ki aanche hai. And then you light it. And then
those are those grills that everybody has outside their windows.
What's wrong with you?
What do you
the
what the hell do you think it is?
Things?
No, it's just
those dirty grills. Look outside the studio. You can see the grills right there.
God, why am I not?
Oh, those are the gills. It's a family from opposite. Sorry.
Why do they have that?
Yeah. Listen, our viewer can't take in the visual delights. Leave it. We don't have a viewer. We have a listener. May, question number 2.
This is a briefless attorney. His Twitter handle is @juniorcounsel. And this was a little while ago. This question came up. And referring to the recent statement of the Maharashtra Advocate General, do you think that Vidarbha should be a separate state?
It's not a recent statement. This is
no, his thing.
Yeah, but the dilly-dallying, different political parties have had different sides of the coin for the last, 30, 40 years. I have no problem with states becoming states if they think they can do a better job. Localize is like you make the community smaller. I'll just look after my lane. I don't have a problem. But what happens is half the time when this happens, they go back to the mother city for everything, as is the case in Hyderabad and Telangana and Andhra and everything else. So my worry is that you'll go back to, everybody will want to slice the mother city. So what's the point of having a separate states if you all want to come back to Mumbai? It's because Mumbai will be with only one state if you were to bifurcate into 3 or 4. So just think of it that way. That's my only worry. But I have no problem. It's a referendum. It's a democratic society. Take a referendum. If that's what the people want, that's what we'll do. That's my answer to this gentleman, briefless attorney. But please don't take me seriously. Let the chef speak.
No, ditto. What he said.
You're not even paying attention. You're downloading porn from Denmark. You sick son of a... I can't believe it. He's so upset with himself. 3 months. It was like a test. Amazing. May, any more questions?
Like me?
Yeah, personal questions. You can go ahead and ask me.
You smell like baby powder right now.
Yes, I have a problem. I'm 44 and after I take a lot of creatine when I work out. It makes me pee for the next 3-4 hours a lot. So what I do is I put a lot of baby powder inside my underwear because when I pee sometimes, let's just say the whole flow doesn't end in one shot. You think it's over, but it teases you and comes back to haunt you 30 seconds later. So it's best to keep the baby powder in and fight the battle.
Never loved you more than right now.
Sorry?
I've never loved you more than right now.
I know. I just like to be honest with ladies. I thought that would turn them off, but apparently it doesn't.
No, we love it even more. We're like, tell us more about your Susu dilemmas.
It's called the Susu experience.
No.
Any other questions? Personal questions?
Wait, why don't we ask Gresham to ask you a question? Do you have questions?
Gresham is bored stiff. He can't bear this.
I'm good.
He's had enough.
I think he's just stiff. No.
Riyaz is half Parsi. He can't handle Parsis for more than 6 hours a day. That's about it for him. But Gresham, thank you for being here. It's called the AMA. If you have any more questions, please write in to us from your hot kitchen. And do you also beat up your juniors now? Do you behave in the same fascist manner that Muller, the German, did with you?
We used to kick a lot of people, but now it's stopped.
But MCBC and the good galis?
Yeah, that's cool, man.
And no matter if they're rich guys, poor guys, whoever, you give it to them.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. All right.
I've never seen you curse before.
You have to go into the kitchen with him. Maybe he's a different man in the kittion. Once he puts on the apron and takes off everything else.
He's like a darling. He's just like...
It's good for
I gotta say, Gresh, I think the most monumental moment of like you cooking was when you pulled out this giant pig's head.
Oh, pig's head.
From...
Oh, got it. You had me there for a second. Although my urine story would not be the worst story of the day. When he pulled out when he was in Denmark, he pulled out a carrot from the ground. And that was his highlight. He didn't go date a girl.
This just huge pig's head with crackling and it was amazing.
The best part was all the non-vegetarians were squeamish, but the 2 vegetarians were cool with it, man.
I wasn't squeamish. I was just like, well, give me the head, dude.
The vegetarians were squeamish because they didn't know what they had no idea what that was. They thought it was another guest. They had no idea. Never seen anything like that. It's all ignorance is bliss, brother.
It was really nice. It was a great meal. He's very good at it.
He's very good. We'll leave the listener with the image of him cutting onions and tomatoes in the background. Here it is.
It's a blunt knife.
Brother, on our budget, we're lucky we have a knife.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
All views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily the views and opinions of the Indus Vox Media Network or any of our show advertisers or sponsors. No animals were harmed in the making of this podcast, obviously.
All right, Cyrus Says is wrapping up, but we have Geek Fruit, which we want you to check out, hosted by Uber Geeks Tejas Menon and Jishnu Guha. They're like Simon and Garfunkel, except they're Tejas and Jishnu, and they can't sing. No, they can actually. And they talk about geek culture. If you're a geek or want to know about geeks or live with a geek or just next to Turkey is geek, go ahead, my friends. Listen to Geek Fruit.